Major Marcus Bader with the Medical Detachment, New Mexico Army National Guard. Our job is primarily to moulage the casualties. That way we provide a little bit of realism to the scenario. It adds a bit of realism outside of the classroom. So it's one thing to see things on a PowerPoint presentation, for example. It's a whole nother thing to actually go out and have live casualties that you're dealing with that you know are going home at the end of the night. It gives you the opportunity to add realism to the training. Because outside of a person screaming, you can't simulate a person screaming unless they're sitting right in front of you. And it adds a little bit of heightened realism so your adrenaline starts running and trying to figure out what to do next with this casualty. That's where the medics and the docs sitting in the triage section are categorizing everybody. And our job primarily is just strong arming people all the way through. Picking them up, being a litter bearer, carrying them with a fireman's carry, walking them down there, whatever we can do to get the casualties to the collection point.
You guys typically train with other services and government agencies like the Air Force?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yes, we do. Depending on what type of exercise and scenario is developed, we can work multi-agencies. Today we happen to be on the Air Force Base with Army and Air, mainly National Guard, but we do have some folks from the active component participating as well. Off base, we can have agencies from the DEA, Border Patrol, ATF, you name the government agency, they'll show up. The FEMA guys will show up, the Urban Search and Rescue Team. So,
that's where I've seen you, huh?
Lieutenant Colonel Vinji, or Dr. Vinji, both of us were here for primarily just the moulage portion, but saw the need for assisted manpower, so we volunteered to step in and start picking up bodies and carrying bodies. That way they get a little bit more of a realism on that end. As the casualties start cycling in, they get overwhelmed rapidly.
We have our manpower out there. They come in through triage. We triage them depending on where they are. We got our D section, which is our walking wounded. We have our C, which is our minimal. And then over towards the exit site, we have A and B, which are your urgents and your people that are going to need surgery to get out faster. That's how we're triaging them. They categorize them out there depending on their injuries, and then as they come in, we bring them in according to their injuries. If they change, their status changes, then we re-triage them according to their status change. To take them out according to urgency.
It's basically, I think it was a pesticide that came over, and it fell down on a bunch of civilians. I don't know what was going on, but it affected a lot of them, and then a mass chaos started to ensue. And then a lot of the patients or civilians started to run into each other, stomp on each other to get out of the way. So it caused a lot of the other injuries. It looks like we have a little bit of casualties filtering in, but there's for the most part, yeah, I believe so. It's causing a lot of what we call sludge. It's basically losing the track of their bowels, as well as they're just sweating. I think L is lacrimating, U is for urine, D is for defecation, G is for GI, and E is for emesis. So they're just not feeling too well. It's damaging their bodies.